And welcome to 95.5 KZLC. We are the voice of Louisiana Christian University, and it is time for our Tuesday Wildcats Media Sports Podcast. I'm the professor, Al Quartemont, joined in studio by our cast of characters. Caleb Cole is with me in the studio, punching all the buttons. We might hear from him today. We have Danny Cobb, along with Adán Wright, Seth Bynog, and Jordan Maye-Brennan. Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you all doing today?
We're doing great.
What's going on? Good afternoon.
Good, doing good.
Of course, doing good.
Nice. Good to have you guys with us. We have a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to, of course, talk about Louisiana Christian University sports. We'll recap the LSU victory on the Saturday, and then we'll jump into the National Football League, which had week one. Some pretty interesting results, and we'll get ready for week number 2. Let's start with our LCU Wildcats. First of all, the football team had their opening game of the season, making a long road trip to Miami Gardens to take on St. Thomas of Florida. It ended up being a pretty tough game. 56-10 was the final score, and the only touchdown of the game for the Wildcats came on a 47-yard pass from River Thompson to our very own Brennan Maye-Jordan. So, Brennan, let's talk about this game. Obviously, it was not the result that you guys were looking for. As you've had a chance to kind of break it down a little bit, what are you guys saying about what kind of went wrong on Saturday?
We just came out very slow and sluggish, so they came out on us fast. They scored about 21 points in about the first 3 drives, and they had great field position every time we punted, going on the 40 and in. So they came out fast, and we just couldn't get it back right.
Yeah, I know it's a disappointing start, especially when you make that long drive. Do you think the drive had anything to do with maybe you guys not coming out with the energy that you expected?
Yes, I feel like it made a little sluggish for us, slow, because we was on the road for about 16 plus hours, but we still had to keep our focus no matter what.
Yeah.
So I can't make any excuses.
Right. So in practice this week, what are you guys doing differently? Now you've got your next game is against an FCS team in Houston Christian Saturday at 6 o'clock. What are the coaches working on with you guys to try to correct the things from last week?
We're working on just speed and just staying more in shape. So practice been harder, faster. So all our scrimmages we've been having in practice and team offense versus defense been very fast, like college, just like we're in the game. So hopefully that just keep us on the roll as soon as we get on the Houston Saturday.
I know it was a disappointing loss, but for you personally, you did have the only touchdown, so it has to be a little bit satisfying.
A little bit. It would have made it better if we got the win, though.
Sure, no doubt about it. You guys, you have a question at all for him?
How was it in your first game? How was it being on the field?
It was actually surreal because when I was at Tuskegee, I didn't really get a chance to play. So when I finally got a touch of the field in my first college game, it felt great.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, good to see it for sure. And go ahead, Seth.
When you scored the touchdown, what were your thoughts as you made it into the end zone?
Well, it was crazy. When I scored the touchdown, that was my first play of the whole game. So when I broke on the post and I thought the DB was going to hit it, but he tapped it just a little bit, so I caught it and just tried to dive right in the end zone. Nice. So it really blew my mind.
Are you feeling like you're developing a pretty good chemistry with River at this point?
Yes, sir. We've been talking to each other in practice as well, getting our timing right, just with everything, just to make sure everything's going to be right Saturday and for the rest of the games.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a tough opponent. You're playing essentially a Division I school, the FCS division, but it's also a chance for you guys to really measure yourself against elite talent to see where you're at.
Yes, that's why we just been getting back to the drawing board, trying to get everything right, plays, and just respecting this opponent and make sure when we get there they respect us after the game.
For sure.
So outside of obviously sluggishness is what you said, but on offense at least, where do you feel like y'all went wrong?
What we went wrong was it was a lot of people we wasn't in shape as a whole. So just coming back to practice this week, we got to get in shape. We got to practice hard. No one can be sluggish in practice because it really shows that practice make perfect.
Well, again, Wildcats will be on the road again this week as they travel to Houston Christian. 6 o'clock kickoff, and then we'll get a chance to see them back here at home the week after, and we'll look forward to that. Adán, you want to run down the soccer team results?
Yeah, we lost our first loss of the year, 3-0 to William Baptist, and so yeah, that's a rough one. That's a rough loss to have, because William Baptist is a good school, but you would think that with the results that we've had so far, that it'd be a better result. But it seems that the teams that we did play just weren't actually up to the scuff of what we needed to be at. Mm-hmm. So I guess playing against those new teams, like those good teams, we're slow in the draw. But I think that with the level of talent that we have on the field, it'll be better.
I saw where we had a couple of guys out with injuries, so that could have played a role a little bit. And now I guess you'll get a chance for those guys to rest because the men's soccer team doesn't play again until September 18th. So that'll be a week from tomorrow, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the starting lineup this time was much different from one we've seen from LC for a while. A lot of players just getting their first, I wouldn't say taste of the field because they've played, but their first time starting. And it's a big thing. It's a new thing, especially with a team as good as William Baptist were. But I think that they'll be back. They'll be good.
Yeah. And the women's team, they're kind of in the midst of a run playing Division I schools.
I think with as good of a season you had last year, that's just kind of how scheduling goes. When you play good, you get good opponents, and this is just what happens. So you got to play up to that. It's a 1-0 loss, and giving up a goal in the 79th minute to lose only 1-0 is not that bad against a Southern. So I think that they could be back this Friday against McNeese, but it's going to be another tough one. It's going to be another hard-fought game at least.
For sure. Who wants to recap the volleyball results for us?
Again, I think volleyball is another one of those sports where each game is going to be very fast, and if you don't come out really strong, it's easy to get blown out. And not blown out as in skill level, blown out as in like it's hard to make comebacks. So this is just what happened. We lost 3-0 to St. Mary and coming back to beat Wiley. So it's beat Wiley 3-0. And I think that our team is just good enough for it. With Emma Cother being the setter again, she's just been the best player on the team. And the other, what's her name? Kate Campbell. She didn't play much last year because of injury, but being able to come back and being as good as she is, it's going to be very helpful for the team.
For sure, yeah. And those two both got honored as Conference Players of the Week, as Campbell was the attacker of the week and Cother was the setter of the week. And the volleyball team will be on the road this week, that long drive to Hobbs, New Mexico, as they'll take on the University of the Southwest in their conference opener. They play at 8 o'clock Friday and 1 o'clock Saturday. All right, so that's a look at LCU sports. Let's move on to college football now at the Division I level with the LSU Tigers against Nicholls State. I don't know if you guys were watching this game at all, but Nicholls was giving them all they could handle in the first half.
I had checked the score at some point, and they were like really close to LSU, and I was like, Mr. Al was talking about a cupcake team, and they're about to beat LSU. And I was scared for a little bit until I saw the end of the game.
Yeah, it was 23-21 early in the third quarter when Colin Guggenheim broke open a 67-yard touchdown run over the middle. And then after that, the Tigers kind of pulled away, and they won 44-21. But I saw a guy on Twitter. He's like, Guggenheim is killing us. Who's this Guggenheim? But Nicholls, I give them credit. I didn't realize that was the first time that LSU and Nicholls had ever met in football, because LSU usually does play one or two state teams every year, but for whatever reason, Nicholls has not been one of them. So, here you have a lot of guys that are from Louisiana, and probably a lot of them that wanted to go to LSU, but maybe weren't at that high of a level to be recruited, but showing that they're still a team that you're going to have to execute against and play well to beat, as evidenced by that final score.
Oh, yeah, they definitely showed that they're not just a cupcake team and that they can compete with some of those higher level teams.
But I still believe that this was a game that we won, but not by earning the win, but it was more of giving it to us.
Think so?
Yes, sir.
Why do you say that?
Because, like we said last night, this is a cupcake team, and after they scored the touchdown in the beginning of the third quarter, it's like they just gave up because we went up 44-21.
I mean, that's the thing with talent. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like they're working hard. Nicholls is putting in the effort for it, but come down the stretch, I mean, the better team always wins in these kind of things.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the movie Rocky when Apollo Creed's trainer is like, he doesn't know it's a dang show. So you get those teams that you bring in and pay money to so that you can get a home game. But those teams come in and say, you know what, we're going to give these guys all they can handle. As evidenced by Northern Illinois against Notre Dame this week, where Northern Illinois on a last-second field goal pulls off what will probably be the upset of the year. And, Notre Dame, after they beat Texas A&M the week before, you're looking at their schedule thinking they could run the table and be very much in that national championship playoff discussion. I don't know what this loss does for them, but now they probably almost have to run the table to even sniff the playoffs, I would think.
I mean, yeah, I think it's the same thing as LSU. They just got to figure out what they did wrong and learn from it. But, I mean, it was a great game, and the emotion at the end was awesome to see from the coach.
For sure. Also in college football, Nebraska really drilled Colorado. Colorado, people have been praising that program because of Deion Sanders, obviously. But, Nebraska last year kind of got drilled by them. And so seeing how much Nebraska now is turning around their program, I think is pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think it's like a revenge game, so I think that they wanted to win that one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that used to be a really great rivalry when both teams were part of the Big 12 conference, and even before that it was the Big 8 conference. So they used to play that game late in the year, but I've seen a number of rivalry games. Iowa State used to be like the last game of the year for them, but they played this last week as well, and Iowa State won that game. So it's kind of interesting the way college football has been restructured this year because of all the conference realignment, and it's messed with a lot of those traditional rivalries.
Yeah, but I think college football is definitely still fun to watch. It's been a lot more fun to watch this year than the last couple of years, I think, in my opinion, personally.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season, and I think the expanded playoffs make it interesting too. You're not just saying, well, probably Georgia or Alabama will win
right
this year, so which is good. All right, let's move on to the National Football League, and we previewed last week's games. Danny, your Ravens had a heartbreaker against the Chiefs. I really thought they were going to win that game.
Yeah, I don't know. Lamar looked good. I don't think Derrick Henry's used to our scheme yet. He didn't run as hard as he would, and I think he just needs to build the confidence in our scheme. And then, of course, the Isaiah Likely touchdown, they got called back because he was a toenail out of bounds. So that was just unfortunate.
That guy's really a productive receiver for them.
I think he's gonna start over Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
He's a great tight end. He runs like a receiver. I think that's the best thing about it, is that he runs like a receiver.
Yeah, no doubt. He's impressive. Then on Friday you had the game in Brazil where the Eagles beat the Packers 34-29. But the big story to come out of this game, well, there were a couple of things. First of all, the turf. A lot of players were complaining about it, and I saw a picture of the turf after the game. It looked like, just was all chewed up. And then the play where Jordan Love kind of got his knee wrenched by the defender on the ground, which, I don't know. I just wasn't really sure that was completely clean. But at first, it looked like that would be an ACL-type injury. As it turns out, he sprained his knee. Could be out, they say, 3 to 6 weeks. So now the Packers will have to turn to Malik Willis, who they traded for right before the start of the season.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate. And I was ready to see what Jordan Love was going to do this season. Although I think hopefully he heals quick. Prayers to him. Hopefully he heals quick and he can play again.
Yeah, Jordan Love was kind of up and down that night. He did have a few good long passes and with a good firing touchdown pass to Christian Watson. But those were good, but he also kind of took a few risks when he threw an interception to the Eagle safety, Reed Blankenship. I believe that's his name is, and missing a few open targets.
All right, so the Sunday games we'll kind of go through quickly. Buffalo over Arizona, 34-28.
No,
I think
Kyler
everyone
Murray.
picked Buffalo. No, who picked Arizona?
I picked Arizona.
Did you?
I believed in Kyler Murray. I still believe in him, but it's a rough one,
Yeah. Did you see the play where Harrison was wide open?
bro.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's just
A
unfortunate.
waste of a draft pick at that point.
Yeah, they got to throw the ball to that guy. It was the Bears over Tennessee, 24-17. A game the Bears won more by their defense than their offense.
Yeah. I mean, Caleb Williams didn't really do much, which was kind of sad to see because I've been wanting to see what he can do because he did good in preseason, but,
Yeah.
you know.
He did really good early in preseason, but I feel like some of the hype died down a little bit when the season started. And I mean, their defense is good enough that it's holding his own. That his lack of production, if you will, it's still overshadowed. But I think he'll be all right.
Houston over Houston beat Indianapolis by 29-27. That was a game that was probably closer than some people thought. I think I even picked Indianapolis last week, if I remember right.
Yeah, you did. Stephon Diggs is just such a good receiver.
Yeah.
He was the main target there, and people were saying that he probably wasn't going to be the main receiver in Houston. But, I mean, what do you expect from someone like Stephon Diggs on your team?
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson had a sick touchdown pass. You saw
I was
it?
just about to talk about that. That was a crazy throw.
So I think he's better than people give him credit for coming off the injury. I thought Jonathan Taylor would have a bigger impact in that game. But I think Indy's a dangerous team going forward because they have a lot of young talent, and I think they'll grow more confidence as the year goes on.
Yeah.
All right, the Dolphins got past Jacksonville 20-17. Jacksonville, a playoff team last year, so not a bad team at all. The big story with that game was kind of the arrest of Tyreek Hill before the game. And then he comes in and gets an 80-yard touchdown and has an interesting celebration after the game. But I thought Tua played pretty well in that game.
Nah, Tua played great. Tua's been a quarterback that's been questioned, especially in his earlier seasons, like his rookie season when he was throwing a bunch of interceptions. But I think throughout these years that he's played, he's gotten comfortable in the NFL.
We've had Minnesota over the hapless, I'm calling them already, hapless New York Giants, 28-6. Sam Darnold is in charge of the Vikings this year with the injury to J.J. McCarthy. But how bad are the Giants?
The Giants are just a poverty team. I think it's rebuild season. They need to do something.
That's a rough program right there. New England over Cincinnati, 16-10. Very disappointing game for Joe Burrow coming off the injury, and a lot of people raising questions about him. Do we need to be concerned?
I am still in shock from watching that game because I remember last week saying that I think the Bengals were going to destroy the Patriots, but their new quarterback Drake May, he's going to have to take a lot more than just one game to impress me because when I got out to the second quarter, my thoughts were, what is happening? I expected this to be an easy game, but it's still the beginning of the season. We still got a lot more games to go.
You know who is impressive? Ramondre Stevenson.
Man, he's so good, man.
He is.
He's such an underrated running back. People don't talk about him enough, I don't think.
And I think with a lot of people, they still have in their mind the way Bill Belichick used running backs versus their new head coach this year. I think Ramondre is going to be more of a featured part of that offense.
Oh, yeah, 100%. He's a Pro Bowl running back.
The Saints. How about those Saints? 47-10 over Carolina. And where did this come for Derek Carr?
Man, Derek Carr's been a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Las Vegas just gave up on him.
That's 100% true. I mean, I remember I saw a clip of him talking to one of the linebackers who was just like yapping in his face, and he looks at him and says, "I scored 3 touchdowns on your head." And
Wow.
I mean, that's just
Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, clearly much more aggressive offense, I would say. Alvin Kamara had a good game. A lot of their receivers had good games. So, granted, it was against Carolina, but I'm excited to see what the Saints do this year. Pittsburgh over Atlanta, 18-10. Not an especially great game. Justin Fields got the start for the Steelers. Kirk Cousins did not look particularly good for the Falcons. So maybe there was a reason why they drafted Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah, that was just a lackluster game. And I know I said on this last time on this radio show that the Falcons might be in the playoffs, which was a hot take, I will say. We'll see what happens later in the season, but it's looking like that's not going to happen.
Well, one thing I've noticed with the NFL, week 1 to week 2 can be a lot of changes. So I don't put a lot of stock into week 1 as far as if a team does particularly bad. Sometimes you'll see them bounce back that next week. Chargers over Las Vegas 22-10, or should I say the Los Angeles Ravens.
Oh, yeah. The Baltimore Chargers got the dub for me. I appreciated Jim Harbaugh.
J.K. Dobbins.
He's so good, man. I don't know why we traded him, but, I mean, it is what it is. We got Derrick Henry, so I can't really complain that much.
That's true. All right, it was Seattle over Denver, 26-20. Kind of some mixed results for the young quarterback for Denver, Bo Nix, even though, by what I've read, his first game was better statistically than John Elway's first game. Not saying he's going to be the next John Elway, but 26-20 in that one.
It was impressive. I think Bo Nix showed that he can definitely be a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
It's just he's going against that Seahawks defense is very good. So that's just an obstacle that he has to go through and learn from.
I'm definitely excited to see him in the next coming weeks because of how good he played statistically. But it's one of those things where it's like, can he be consistent with that kind of performance?
All right, it is Dallas over Cleveland, 33-17. How about those Cowboys? Dak Prescott signed the largest contract in NFL history before the game.
He was playing like he did. Goodness. That was...
And
their defense was really what stood out to me. Was the Cowboys' defense was insane.
I would say both Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game that day.
And Brandon Cooks, too. And how would you like to be Cleveland right now, knowing you've got that Deshaun Watson contract on your hands?
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with that. I think...
Bring back Joe Flacco.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Put Joe
100%.
Flacco in a starting position. I need to see him play again before he retires.
Put him in, coach.
I want to see him chuck more Hail Marys, really.
The Cowboys kicker booted, 64-yard field goal right before the half, but there was a penalty on the play, so it didn't count.
I'm really upset that they didn't go for it again and try to get that record for him because that was he looked like he was going to hit it too. Yeah. I could feel it, but I guess the team didn't.
Still wouldn't have beat Justin Tucker, though.
Yeah, that kind of bummed me out.
Tampa over Washington, 37-20. Jaden Daniels actually played pretty well in that game, had a couple of touchdowns, but not enough to overcome a nice effort from Baker Mayfield.
It felt like Jaden Daniels was just having to do it all. It seems like that's how he felt. That's why we got 2 rushing touchdowns, because he didn't trust in his receivers, or at least the team didn't.
Right. So they're rebuilding there for sure. Exciting Sunday night game in overtime. Detroit over the Rams, 26-20. One of the big stories out of that game, Puka Nacua suffering the knee injury. Have we seen how long he's going to be out?
Like 4 weeks.
Okay. So similar to Jordan Love. Then.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was a good game. And then last night, a game I couldn't watch because we have DirecTV and ESPN is now blacked out. Thanks, Disney, you leeches. 32-19, San Francisco over the Jets. Jets. Niners look pretty good.
They look great. Like I said, they're a Super Bowl team, and they're playing against the Aaron Rodgers, who was injured all last season, who just needs to get comfortable on the field again.
230 yards for Brock Purdy. That's pretty nice.
Pretty nice for sure. All right, let's talk about our fantasy league. We have the Journalism Fantasy League, and week 1 results were pretty interesting. We got to give our first mad props to, we've got 9 teams in the league, and so one team is going to be on bye every week. And unfortunately for Caleb Cole, his team was on bye as he scored the most points in the league with 145.88, led by Josh Allen, Joe Mixon, who I didn't even realize was on Houston this year, and then A.J. Brown. So you might have a juggernaut team this year, Caleb.
Maybe. There's a chance. I don't know nothing about what I'm doing. I just picked the ones that, had high numbers or I like their name. I'll be honest.
I mean, hey, but fantasy beginner luck.
Right.
Let's face it, he's destined to win the league.
No. This is my league to win. I'm winning it.
All right, well, let's break down the results. So my team got a 108-99 win over Christian McDaddy. That's one of your friends, I assume?
That is Grant's baseball friend.
Oh, okay. So, and the whole reason that I won, I had the first pick in our draft, which we did last Thursday, and I didn't want to have the first pick in the draft. I didn't want to take Christian McCaffrey because I know the year that I have him, he's going to be injured all the time. Well, sure enough, I was finishing up editing the Wildcat Minute last night, got down around 7, and I just turned my phone on, and they're like, yeah, Christian McCaffrey is out for the game. So I'm like, who's his handcuff? So I look it up, Jordan Mason. So I hop on our league app, and I find Jordan Mason is available. So I try to go to sign him. Well, the only players I can cut are the players that were still going to play in that game that hadn't played yet this week. So I had a choice of cutting McCaffrey, which I wasn't going to do, cutting Wilson, the receiver for the Jets, which I wasn't going to do, or cutting my kicker, Zerline, Legatron. And I'm like, okay, so Mason, if he gets the start, probably will get more points than Zerline will. And that paid off because Mason ended up with 22.2 points, and I won by 9 points. So if I didn't make that move, I'd probably lose.
Hey man, what a running back performance from him though, especially stepping up for CMC.
Yeah. And then you later told me I could have put McCaffrey on the IR.
Yeah, there's an entry reserve for players that are out.
So I could have had my kicker, but
You might be able to get your kicker back now, though.
I know.
I mean, you can just pick him up.
I'll sign one for next week for sure. So, all right. We also had the fantasy villains falling to Guyot Republic, 113-108. Now, who are those two teams?
That's me. I'm Guyot Republic, and I will say that Mike Evans and really showed up for me this week. And him and Kyler Murray, even though Kyler Murray didn't do great, they really did good for me, as well as Pittsburgh's defense. Man, they did. I'm so happy for that. And then Dicker, the kicker, got me 12 points, and I'm happy about that.
And I'm the owner of the fantasy villains, and I'm like Caleb, I'm still a big learning this fantasy football thing. And on Thursday night, I checked my team, and I thought, I'm in the lead. I'm doing great. But when it came to Saturday night, the guy at Republic took the lead, and I was a little freaked out. But I checked the roster, and I have one of the 49ers players on my team, George Kittle, and I thought, okay, I might be okay. I might still be able to take the lead back, but not even he was enough to get me back the lead.
He needed 13 points. George Kittle needed to have 13 points. He ended with 8 points.
Yep.
Yeah. So how do you pronounce your team?
Guyot Republic.
Guyot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is that like a soccer thing?
No, it's a slang term, and for young youth, they'll understand.
Okay. All right. So I'm sounding silly right now. This isn't like a word that's going to get us kicked off the air, I hope.
Probably not. No. Yeah, right.
See, I'm thinking like Guyot milk, or that kind of.
Pretty. You're good. You're close.
That's close enough.
Yeah, you got it. Don't worry about it. You're good.
You guys are going to be playing this off for all your friends now. I'm going to have to look it up what it means.
We're
In
cooked.
the Urban Dictionary.
Adán's kicked off the show, guys. I'm playing. It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
All right, I got to be careful with these names. Apparently, who you challenge, bro?
All right, look, this is a Siege reference, so if anyone plays Rainbow Six Siege, they'll know.
Okay, well that will explain why I don't. Over Mardi Gras, 137-128. Now, who are those two teams?
So I'm who you challenge, bro.
And there's a reason why he has that name, because his original team name was
Zay Flower Power, which was been a thing since I've started fantasy. And Mr. Fantasy Villain, this is why his name is the Fantasy Villains, decided to take Zay Flowers over Brandon Ayuk just to make me angry.
The funny part,
I could have taken Lamar Jackson, but I didn't.
Okay, someone else did. It's not like I was going to be able to get him.
The funny part about that to me was that his excuse for taking Zay Flowers was that his phone was about to die. But the thing is, you had to scroll
literally
like 40 people, past 40 people to find him. And like I feel like he chose that out of spite specifically.
like over Brandon Ayuk, like really.
Wow. It just makes it more interesting, that's for sure. So, who's Mardi Gras?
That's Grant.
Okay. All right.
So, I was actually down after Sunday and had Deebo Samuel playing for me Monday night. He needed about 10, 11 points, and he decided to go off and get me 18.7. So that won me this week.
Yeah, with the injury to McCaffrey, they were using him a little bit at running back, and that was a huge factor in him getting those points. And then our last game was between Meatballs and Jack Boys, and Meatballs won that 117-86. So who are those two teams?
That is me as the Jack Boys, and I had a feeling I wasn't going to win because my kicker had the most points.
Oh, no. Yeah, your kicker had 17.
Yep.
And Patrick Mahomes had 15. Bijan Robinson 16. But after that, I think like Drake London just had an off game.
Yeah, then Puka got hurt, so
Yeah.
that just made it worse.
Yeah, so going to have to go to that bench next week, right?
Yep.
Or look at some free agents for sure. So, and who's Meatballs?
Meatballs is my friend that moved to New York in 6th grade that I'm close with. Shout out James in Malone, New York.
All right, James got the win. So it'll be a very competitive league. Should be a lot of fun to see how it ends up. But I'm going to give Brennan credit. He had to draft while he was on the bus. How was that?
It wasn't bad. It just I was in and out of service with the
Okay.
trees and everything.
Yeah, I noticed it would be like, Brennan just left the room, has come back to the room. So, yeah. Were you getting advice from your teammates while you were drafting?
Yeah, one of them told me to go with Bijan Robinson, so I went with him, and he gave me 16 points.
That was good advice.
I was going to draft him too, man.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look as we close out the show. We'll look at this week's games coming up in the National Football League. So the game on Thursday night, which will be on Amazon Prime, actually is one of the best matchups of the week, and I hate that it's on Thursday because the teams never play as well on Thursday. This should have been like the Sunday night game. Bills at Dolphins. Who do you guys like in this one?
Well, if Tyreek doesn't try to get arrested again, I think I like the Dolphins here, but I think this is going to be a close game.
Okay.
I think I kind of think the Bills, though, just the way that they're playing offensively, especially. I mean, it's hard to compare two offensive like giants as the Bills and the Dolphins, but I'm slightly favoring the Bills as well, all around.
Yeah, I got to side with the Bills as well because Josh Allen, he's a pretty good quarterback, and he could have some pretty good competition against the Dolphins.
I'm going to go with the Dolphins because I see it's definitely going to be a high-scoring game, but I think the Dolphins are going to come out with it at the end.
I'm going to go Dolphins because that's been my team since I was a little kid.
I'll go with the Bills because I like their name better.
And he has Josh Allen.
And he has Josh Allen. That's right. So, okay. Moving on to the Sunday games. An old NFC Central matchup. That's before you guys probably were watching football, when the Lions and the Buccaneers used to be in the same division as the Packers, Bears, and Vikings. But it's a little different now. So Buccaneers are part of the NFC South. Buccaneers and Lions. Lions coming off a big win. What do you guys think in this game? Two undefeated teams.
I'm a Lions supporter for a playoff run, so I want to go with the Lions on this one.
I am also a Lions supporter, but I'm a Mike Evans lover as well, so we'll see.
This match, I'm a little undecided because I don't know whether to go for Mayfield or Goff, but I'm gonna side a little closer to Mayfield, so Buccaneers.
Yeah, this is a hard one. This is definitely going to be one of the best games on Sunday, so I'm going to go with the Lions.
Okay. And what about Caleb? What do you think? Which name do you like?
You see, National Talk Like a Pirate Day is coming up, so I'm going with Buccaneers.
That's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I'm going to go with the Lions in that one as well. All right. 49ers at Vikings. 49ers coming off the big Monday night win. Vikings coming off a pretty good performance in their opening win. Two undefeated teams again. Who do you guys like?
I'm going Niners. I need Debo to lock it in for me.
Yeah, I like the Niners as well. I think they were really, really good last week.
I got to go with the 49ers. George Kittle, please, you got to lock in on this game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners as well.
Caleb, which name do you like better, 49ers or Vikings?
Well, Vikings are cool, but 49ers, that's like the minors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still going with the Vikings.
All right, Caleb. And I'm going to go with the Vikings, too, because of that Monday night. The team that wins on Monday night usually loses the next week thing.
Okay.
We'll see if that happens. All right, we got Ravens hosting the Raiders. Ravens and Raiders.
Go Birds, man.
Yeah.
I think they got it. But I do think Stephon Diggs wasn't that bad. So
Stephon doesn't play for the
my fault.
Raiders.
Who was the receiver for the Raiders? Who's
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, him. He was good. So
Got to go with Lamar Jackson, Ravens.
All right.
I'm going to go with my Ravens by 17.
Okay. Caleb.
Okay.
By the way, I'm going with the Ravens, too. So we'll see who Caleb picks. Ravens or Raiders?
I'd have to go with Ravens, too, not going to lie.
Okay. It's a clean sweep for the Ravens on that one.
Good.
All right. We've got the Browns at the Jaguars, two teams that come into the game 0-1.
Let's go, Trevor Lawrence.
All right.
I'm just hoping that the Browns can have a bounce back for my fam in Akron.
So you're going Browns?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got to go with the Jaguars because I expect them to win, I would say 21-10 as long as Mac Jones does not play.
Okay.
Not a Mac Jones
The
fan.
caveat.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
All right. Caleb, Browns or Jaguars?
Okay. Brown seems like a stupid name. Like, what if I called myself the Purples? It's a color. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars.
I mean, I don't think anyone will disagree with you there.
I'm going to go with the Jaguars as well. All right. This one is interesting. The Colts and the Packers. Packers obviously having to play without Jordan Love. They've got Malik Willis, who's had some playing experience at the National Football League level. Not very good, but what do you think in this game?
I'm going to go with the Colts. I think the Packers are a team that could get ran on pretty easily, and, they have Jonathan Taylor. So
The return of Jonathan Taylor to Wisconsin, by the way.
Yep.
I'm going to have to go with the Colts as well. I just think losing a player like Jordan Love is really bad.
I'm gonna go with the Packers because the Packers not only have Jordan Love, we also got some good wide receivers, Jaden Reed and Romeo Doubs.
Yeah, you have Jaden Reed.
I'm going to go with the Colts because Jordan Love being out is just going to stick out to me.
Yeah. Caleb?
I'm going with the Colts because horses carry things. And it's not Packers.
That's right.
Wow.
All right. I can't pick against my Packers, so I'm gonna have to go with them. The Jets at the Commanders. Oh my gosh, you couldn't pay me to watch this game.
Jane Daniels is fun to watch. Don't be like that.
That's true.
Just because
you're right.
Just because the Giants are poverty doesn't mean that Jane Daniels can't have a good game.
You're right. He probably
Actually, that means he will have a good game. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the Commanders.
Isn't he my backup quarterback?
He is.
probably
He
should
got
start
you
him this
30
week.
points.
So I'm probably gonna have to play him this week.
That'd be a good idea. Wait, am I playing you? Wait, maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't start him.
So Danny's going with the Commanders. Adán?
Also go with the Commanders.
After what happened Sunday with the Giants, I'm gonna play it safe and go with the Commanders.
Okay.
Commanders.
I'll go with the Commanders too. And Caleb?
See, I'm still mad about the name change, so I'm going to go Giants.
Hashtag keep the Redskins.
Agreed.
Okay. Tough game for the Saints. They're going into Dallas to take on the Cowboys. This is a noon game. That's a shame. That could have been the featured game of the week, Saints and Cowboys.
I think this is going to be a good game. I don't know if it's bad for the Saints. I mean, how they played. I mean, I know it's the Panthers, but Derek Carr looked really good. So did Alvin Kamara, and I think this might be a field goal type of game. So I think I'm leaning more towards the Cowboys though on this one.
I will not be caught picking the Cowboys in most or any scenario, so I'm gonna pick the Saints on this one. And also, I do think Derek Carr's going to be really good. So there's my hope, even though I know that their kickers are insane for the Cowboys.
True.
I feel like this is going to be a really close game, so I'm going to have to say the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Okay. Caleb?
Okay. This is an interesting story about this game. You see, at my church, the entire congregation is Saints fans, but our pastor is a Cowboys fan. So this is our church's Super Bowl. I'll go with the Saints.
There we go.
That'll be awkward service Sunday morning.
That will be. I'm going to go with the Saints as well. I just think Cowboys are always overhyped. All right. Jets at Titans. Sheesh.
Yeah, Will Levis was literally on his knees with his hands on his head after throwing an interception. I don't think he's ready to play in the NFL as of right now, so I think the Jets got this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that one at all. Jets.
A-Rod's got this game. Jets.
Jets.
Okay. Caleb, any thoughts on that one?
Jets are awesome.
You're going with the Jets? All right. And I'll go with them as well. Nobody's picking the Titans. All right. Seahawks at Patriots. Another interesting game.
The Patriots surprised me last week. I know I said they were going to lose, and I didn't believe in the organization on the show last time.
Yeah.
Gerard Mayo's a good coach. I'm sorry, Gerard Mayo, for disrespecting you. But I think I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks.
I don't know. I like New England, and I think they're gonna play even better than they did against Cincinnati, who just
So you're going Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, the Patriots still surprised me Sunday, but once again, it's going to take more than just one game to impress me, so Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm going to go Seahawks.
Seahawks or Patriots, Mr. Cobb?
See, I'm going to go Patriots because America.
there we go.
I love how he makes his picks. My goodness. This is a tough one. I'm going to lean toward... I'm going to go with the Patriots, too.
America.
Yeah. Chargers at Panthers.
Baltimore Chargers, let's get it.
Another big game for JK.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with the Baltimore team again.
Okay.
Baltimore. I don't really expect much from Carolina.
I'm going with Chargers.
All right. I'm going to go with the Chargers, too. What do you think, Caleb? Chargers or Panthers?
What are the Chargers? Like, what is that mascot?
It's like
Like
a
electricity?
lightning
Like what?
bolt. Yeah, basically.
Like a phone charger? So it's a phone charger versus a Panther.
I guess.
It's a good comparison, yeah.
Well, it's a Charger. They bring power to the
charger more
NFL.
often, so I'm going with Chargers.
I'm not like the batteries. Is that a better name?
But hey, the Chargers, that's electricity. They bring power to the NFL.
Another tough game to pick. Rams and Cardinals. Because the obvious pick would seem to be the Rams, but, the Cardinals are tough.
I just want to go against Adán since he's a Kyler Murray
Yeah.
supporter. And, all Kyler Murray does is stream Call of Duty, and I don't think he locks into the NFL. So I'm going to have to go with the Rams.
Okay.
Well, I guess we know what I'm picking because I'm a Kyler Murray believer. I will stick with him until I need to bench him, and I don't think it's this week. So,
All right. Seth?
I'm going to go with the Rams just to make things interesting.
I'm going to go with the Rams, too.
I'm thinking I'll probably do the Rams, too. And what about Caleb?
You see, Cardinals have been visiting my bird feeder at my house, so I'm going to go with them.
Nice.
someone's got my back. Oh, yeah.
All right. Steelers at Broncos. Another tough game to pick, I feel.
Bo Nix played good last week. And I know Russell Wilson said Broncos country, let's ride, which is very unfortunate now that he's not on that team. But I think I'm going to go with Bo Nix in the Broncos.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with that. I like the Broncos in this one.
I'm going to go with the Steelers because One of their players I have on my fantasy team, Najee, I forgot his last name.
Harris.
Najee Harris. I think he had a good game Sunday, so Steelers.
But I am hoping that the Steelers defense does do
Yes,
as
you
good as
are.
it did last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Steelers because their defense seems very strong this year once again, and I don't think the Broncos have the offense for it just to beat them.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. So at least Caleb.
Yeah. Well, you see, I already picked one horse team, so I'm going to go with the Steelers.
Okay. 3 games left. Bengals are at the Chiefs. This is a rematch of the playoffs a couple years ago. AFC Championship, as I recall.
Yeah. I'm gonna be a Swiftie this week. I'm gonna go Chiefs.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
I'm honestly gonna have to go with the Bengals. Not because I really do not like the Chiefs. It's not that I don't have anything against the Chiefs. They're a really good team with a really good quarterback. I just feel like it's time for another team to take the spotlight, and I do believe Joe Burrow can pull it off like he did in the AFC Championship a few years ago. So, Bengals.
I mean, we thought that was going to be the Ravens, but
All right.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
Not really believe in the Bengals yet.
I'm believing in the Bengals, too. I'm a Joe Burrow guy, so I'm going to jump on them. And then lastly, Caleb.
You see, here, I kind of got to ask, who would win? You know, a tiger or a chief?
A tiger, of course.
You know? But the Chiefs got a spear.
Yeah, Native Americans
Yeah,
got it,
Native
you know?
Americans used
Right,
to go
they-
crazy back in
You
the
know,
day.
so I'm going to go with the chief.
The real question is who would win in a fight, a tiger or Taylor Swift?
that is the real question. And I mean,
I would hope the Tiger wins. Taylor Swift makes me angry.
Same.
she's just going to shake it off, let's be real. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Here we go.
Her and Travis Kelce.
Okay.
And talk about getting a haircut that makes you look like a dork. Kelsey, what is that? My goodness. My goodness. Sunday night game. The Bears at the Texans. Only interesting because the Texans are playing, but how could they schedule the Bears for Sunday night? There's so many good matchups this week.
Yeah, I have no clue, but I feel like that's an easy pick, an easy sweep. I'm going with the Texans.
Okay.
I don't want to go against one of my family teams, but they're going to get destroyed. So, yeah, Texans.
This is a game I'm also a little undecided on, but I still got to go with the Bears.
Really?
I'm
Okay.
gonna go with H-Town.
All right. I'm going definitely with the Texans. So what do you like, Bears or Texans?
Okay, a Texan versus anything?
I was about to say that's like a full-blown redneck. Like
Yeah, like no contest.
But it's
Yeah.
a Houston Texan. Is that change it any at all?
No.
So who are you picking?
Texans.
Okay. And then the last game, Monday night, Falcons at Eagles. That feels pretty easy on this one.
Yeah, I'd have to go Eagles, even though I've said that the Falcons might be in the playoffs, but I'm kind of scared for them as of
They're
right
gonna
now.
have to have
So
a good second half.
yeah, let's go
Yeah.
Eagles.
Yeah, I agree. The Eagles are just going to win this one.
The Battle of the Birds. I'm gonna stay strong and stick with my team because Jalen Hurts has got it. I'm gonna go say the Eagles.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagles.
Me too. So what do you like, Falcons or Eagles?
That's a hard pick. They're both birds of prey. It seems like there's a lot of birds of prey within the team's names. I noticed that.
You like America, right? Eagle is the American
Yeah,
bird.
but
Oh, no.
Eagle also kind of sounds like egg, you know? And Falcons, that's a cooler name. So I'm going with Falcon.
Like what?
There's
like,
nothing.
What does that
listen,
even?
He's
The logic of that
Hey,
pick.
never let this guy bet on any sports
Yeah, I
game.
know.
listen. He didn't know what he was doing when he drafted. But look at him.
yeah.
I mean, if he goes 100% and sweeps us and gets all these right, I'll pay him $50.
$50.
It's on.
We
live.
have it
It's
on
on
live.
the radio.
We
have it on
$50.
You heard it.
You heard it here first, folks.
Awesome. All right, so those are our picks for Week 2 of the National Football League. Should be fun. The good thing is, even though we have DirecTV and don't get ESPN, we do get the Red Zone channel. So I was watching that Sunday. That is the best. That's the way to watch football.
I would agree with you. The only thing is, I like watching one game like for its story. Like I wanted to watch the Washington game, but like I keep getting other games when I'm watching the Red Zone channel, and I was like, I want to hear the story behind it.
Yeah.
I get it though. I get why it's good.
Yeah, especially for fantasy, because it keeps you in tune with your players. So, all right, that'll do it for week 2 of our Wildcats Media Sports Podcast. We are having a lot of fun on this show, and we'll continue throughout the rest of the fall. So, thank you all for listening. For Danny Cobb, Adán Wright, Seth Bynog, Brennan Maye-Jordan, and also Caleb Cole, I'm Al Quartemont. Guys, hope you have a great rest of your day and no school tomorrow.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm sure you're sad.
Very.
All right, we'll talk with y'all next week. Have a great day, everyone.